Peace and love, goddesses. This is the goddess, Miss Ruby D, your energy and soul therapist and goddess entrepreneur. And today I am going to be discussing the relationship root chakra. Of course, if you are one of my goddesses unleashed or either a member of my goddess evolved tier on Patreon, you do have access to this exclusive content. But recently I did do the relationship chakra system overview, and now I am starting to go into each individual chakra more in depth to give you all a better understanding and a few tips on specifically what each of those relationship chakras are associated with and how to balance them. So, I'll make this as informative yet as quick as possible. So let's go ahead and get started. So, of course, we know that the relationship chakra system is the energy body that exists as a result of the relationship that is between you and your partner, your significant other, whomever that may be. And when we are experiencing problems or issues within our relationship, then it's because there's an energy disconnect that exists between you and your partner, or there is an imbalance in your chakra system specifically, and it is affecting the relationship. So, of course, just like with your regular root chakra, that is associated with your foundation, being grounded, your purpose, things like that, which, if you're familiar with the chakras, then you know what I'm talking about. If not, then you can reach out to me and we can, go into that more in depth. But with the relationship root chakra, of course, it is associated with how the relationship was developed or established and its foundation. And excuse me, I have the sniffles, so I know I sound nasally and whatnot, so don't mind that, but I just still wanted to go ahead and get this information out. But the relationship root chakra, how the relationship was developed and established, and its foundation, the purpose of the relationship, the survival of the relationship. Those types of things is what is associated with the relationship root chakra. So, of course, when we think about the development or the establishment of the relationship, we want to focus more on the energy that was surrounding the connection when you initially met the person, the circumstances, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual spaces that you were in when you met this particular person. It's not always about what other people think or what other people see, because, and I'll use this for an example, in a lot of cases, or in cases where men or women get with someone while they're still involved with another person, they may not necessarily be in a relationship, but they may be involved with another person. Or, as some people say, is they are cheating. People like to say, well, if that's how you started the relationship, then that's how this relationship is going to end. And that's not true. That's not always the case. But I'm not talking about that type of circumstances surrounding the relationship. When I say circumstances, then it's more so the mind frame, the emotional space, that type of those types of circumstances that I'm referring to. And you have to understand the difference between, people saying, oh, he cheated or she cheated or whatever the case is, and the energy circumstances. Because, you know, some people say that cheating, or if my partner ever cheated on me, then I'm leaving, I'm not staying, this and this and that. Well, I mean, you have your reasons and you have your preferences, but for people that do, then it's not always necessarily them being stupid, them being dumb, or anything like that. You have to look much deeper when it comes to the spiritual, the energetic, the mental, the emotional energy that is within a relationship. And I think that part um is what a lot of relationships are missing, and that's what caused people to disconnect, relationships to fall apart, marriages to end up in divorce and whatnot. So I'm definitely wanting to go deeper beyond the what we normally see. So this is why I'm doing, you know, this particular chakra system and breaking it down and whatnot. But um when you met this person, what was your mental state, your emotional state? I know a lot of us, you know, are more susceptible to meeting people um right when we break up with somebody, or right, you know, shortly after we've gotten out of a relationship and we're going through that emotional phase and this and this and that. And, you know, people say, well, you need to give yourself time to heal. And it's just like, for some people, healing doesn't take 2 years. Healing can be 2 weeks. It just depends on where you are in your journey with being in tune and in touch with yourself. But if during that period of time where you know that you are still sensitive from a breakup and you're really just wanting some attention from somebody, and then that person comes in, now mind you, because this is what you are really wanting, in many cases, in most cases, whenever we break up with somebody or whenever a relationship ends, it ends because there's something that's not being fulfilled that we feel we need to be getting from this other person. And for example, if that thing is attention, you like, all I want is attention. All I wanted was attention. I want somebody to care. I want somebody to make me feel important. And then you're out at the mall or just, you know, doing whatever you do on a regular day. And then you meet this person and they're showing you attention. They're making you feel like they care about you. And they're doing all these things that you said you wanted. You didn't say when, but you said that's what you wanted. And you meet that person and it's just like, you get together and then everything is good, and then at some point in time it's not so good. Well, it's just like, well, when you got with this person, your main focus was the fact that they were showing you attention, showing you that they cared for you. And because you were getting that, then you neglected the fact that there are other things that matter in a relationship that you really needed, that you should have in any strong relationship or any relationship that's gonna have some longevity. So you have to think about what your mental state was, what your emotional state was, what your spiritual state was, your energetic state, that, you know, type of thing that surrounded the establishment of that connection. It's not always when you immediately meet somebody, oh, is this person the one? It's like, nobody told you to try and be in a relationship with everybody that you meet of the opposite sex or of the same sex, whatever your preference is. First, you have to focus on connecting, genuinely connecting energetically with the person. Um, the foundation of the relationship, of course, your foundation, again, your multi-dimensional foundation, which is mentally, emotionally, energetically, physically, as well as spiritually. Your level of communication. How are you two able to effectively communicate with one another. Not just communicate, but effectively communicate. You know, that is a very big part of the foundation or the establishment of your relationship. If you're not able to effectively communicate, and that is not only with each other, but with yourselves individually, it's gonna, of course, cause a problem in a relationship. And when you are effectively communicating, what are you talking about? When you initially meet someone, if it's just small talk and that's it, and sometimes just talking about relationships and past relationships, that's considered small talk too. That's not the deep, in-depth conversations that you need to be having to really get to know a person. Because simply because someone is talking about a past relationship, it doesn't mean that they haven't grown. And it doesn't mean that they may not still be in that, that mind frame. So you have to have these conversations beyond that to really get a good understanding of who this person is and the type of connection that can be established as a result. Red flags. That definitely has a lot to do with the foundation of your relationship. Whether you ignore them, triggers. Red flags, triggers, things like that. You have to be aware of when you are establishing the foundation of your relationship, when you are referring to the relationship root chakra. These are all things that have to do with your foundation and the establishment and the development of your relationship with your significant other. And when having these conversations, you have to gauge what the connection is going to be like, the financial foundation, the emotional foundation of the relationship, the energy foundation, the spiritual foundation, and the physical foundation. These are things that you have to look at as it relates to your relationship root chakra. Now, once you've, taken the time to look at some of these things, here are some, suggestions that I have to establish balance within the connection between you and your partner. Of course, I always recommend meditation. There's so many different ways to meditate, hundreds of different ways to meditate, but couples meditation, individual and couples meditation, will help to greatly improve and balance the connection between you and your partner or any disconnects. You all can meditate together in the same room. You can do sexual meditation. You can do meditation in separate spaces, but at the same time. Different ways. It's basically trying different things and then determining which is most effective, which brings you closer multi-dimensionally and mends that disconnect that exists between you and your partner. Definitely grounding separately and grounding together. Sometimes if you all are not really familiar with your energy and how to recharge and protect the energy of not only yourselves but of your relationship, you have to ground your relationship. Most relationships are not grounded at all because most people have no idea that they should be grounding their relationship. And being able to comfortably identify areas of disconnect. And what I mean by that is if you and your partner are connected, then you know that there are going to come points in time where there are going to be some slight disconnects. And you have to be open to identifying those disconnects and being honest with each other that a disconnect exists so that you both can work on reconnecting. So just being open to comfortably and confidently identifying these disconnects is another way to balance and heal the relationship root chakra. Now, I do offer relationship chakra energy wellness sessions for individuals as well as couples. So if you are interested in, booking that particular type of session, then definitely reach out to me. Um, like I said, it can be individually or as a couple. But if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you have any input, or if you need some clarification on what I've talked about, please reach out to me. I gave you some information, but of course I can't give you specific information because I have to speak with you individually to get a better understanding of what your situation is, your circumstances and stuff like that. And it's just a matter of us having an open conversation to really identify disconnects and areas of healing that can take place. So, this has been Ruby D, the goddess of me, myself. And I'm glad to have you all here to be able to share these things with you. I look forward to speaking with you all next about the relationship sacral chakra. So, of course, if you have any questions, reach out to me. Talk to you next time. Peace.